In the small American town of Decatur, Illinois, the life of young mother Karyn Slover was cut short in the most tragic and unexpected way. Her story is not just a criminal case, but a true drama that shook everyone, from her loved ones to seasoned detectives. On September 27, 1996, Karyn left work, planning to pick up her 3-year-old son Colton and go shopping with him. But she never made it home. A few hours later, her car was found abandoned on the side of the highway, 60 kilometers from her hometown, with the door wide open, headlights on, and the engine still running. What really happened that fateful evening? This story is filled with mysteries, pain, and ultimately, a terrifying truth. Karyn Slover was born on October 27, 1972. After high school, she enrolled at the local Richland College, where she met her future husband, Michael Slover. They married in 1992, and a year later, their son Colton was born. Life for the young family was not easy. Both spouses worked hard to provide for themselves and their child. Karyn had to return to work just a few days after giving birth, leaving the baby in the care of her husband's parents. Over time, Karyn found a stable job in the advertising sales department of a local newspaper, where she was valued and well-liked by her colleagues. But her family life began to fall apart. Michael became aggressive, physically abusing her during arguments, and eventually, Karyn filed for divorce. The court granted her custody of their son, but due to her modest salary, she continued to rely on her former in-laws for help in taking care of Colton. After the divorce, Karyn started dating David Swan, a man who got along well with her son and seemed like a reliable support. In 1996, when Colton turned 3, she began considering a fresh start. She dreamed of moving to another city and pursuing a modeling career. A major modeling agency in Georgia had offered her an opportunity, and Karyn eagerly anticipated this new chapter in her life. But fate had other plans. On that fateful evening of September 27th, Karyn left the office around 5 p.m. She told her colleagues she planned to pick up her son from his grandparents and then head to the Forsyth Mall to shop for dresses for a friend's wedding. But she never arrived, neither to pick up Colton nor at the mall. As the hours passed, concern grew, and by 10 p.m., a patrol officer found her car abandoned on the shoulder of Route 72 near the city of Champaign. Inside the vehicle, police discovered Karyn's purse with her documents, a half-eaten chocolate bar, and a takeout bag from a cafe. It looked as if she had just stepped out and would return at any moment. But Karyn had vanished. Investigators soon learned that the car belonged to David Swan, who had lent it to Karyn while her own vehicle was being repaired. David confirmed that she had planned to pick up her son but never did. The car was sent for forensic examination, and detectives began questioning those close to her. Michael's parents, who had Colton at their home, said they had been expecting Karyn after work, but she never showed up. Police suspected either an abduction or a botched carjacking, as the location where her vehicle was found did not align with her expected route. From her office to her in-laws' home and the Forsyth Mall, the path was straightforward, but Champaign was 60 kilometers in the opposite direction. Forensic experts discovered several strange details inside the car: traces of cement and ash on the passenger seat, a few stalks of tall grass that didn't grow along the highway, and scattered coins. David insisted that none of these were in the vehicle when he lent it to Karyn. These findings only deepened the mystery, but became the first threads in unraveling this dark case. The search for Karyn spread across the entire town. Her relatives, friends, and colleagues combed the area, distributed flyers, and the newspaper where she worked even offered a $10,000 reward for any information. But hope was shattered on October 1st when fishermen found a garbage bag on the shore of Lake Shelbyville. Inside was a woman's head. Dental records confirmed the worst fears. It was Karyn. Divers later recovered several more bags containing parts of her dismembered body, weighed down with chunks of concrete. An autopsy revealed that she had been shot 7 times before being dismembered, likely with a chainsaw. The brutality of the crime shocked even the most seasoned detectives. They suspected the killer knew Karyn well and harbored deep hatred for her. Otherwise, why so many gunshots and such a gruesome method of disposal? Suspicion immediately fell on those closest to her. Her ex-husband Michael, known for his violent outbursts, and her boyfriend David, who had a troubled past with both the law and his mental health. Michael insisted that he had been working all day at a supermarket, a gym, and a bar. His alibi was backed by dozens of witnesses, ruling him out as a suspect. David, however, behaved strangely. He actively participated in the search, gave interviews, and exaggerated the seriousness of his relationship with Karyn. He owned both a chainsaw and a gun of the same caliber used in the murder. On the night of the killing, he was late to a wedding, leaving a 45-minute window where he had no alibi. But surveillance footage from an ATM proved he had been withdrawing money during that time, clearing him of suspicion. When the primary suspects were ruled out, detectives turned their attention to Michael's parents, Janet and her husband. Karyn's relationship with her former mother-in-law had been strained. Janet adored Colton and didn't want to give him up to his mother, sometimes acting as if the boy were her own son. What made things even more disturbing was that she had even breastfed him. And when Karyn planned to move to Georgia and take Colton with her, it might have been enough to push Janet to take extreme measures. Investigators discovered that on the day of Karyn's disappearance, Janet had not called her as she claimed, but she had been in frequent contact with Michael. Her husband said he had been out shopping for Colton's toys, but the store he mentioned didn't sell the brands he described. His whereabouts also coincided with the time of the murder. The Slovers owned an abandoned lot where their former auto business had once stood, covered in chunks of concrete, identical to those found in the bags containing Karyn's remains. However, there wasn't enough evidence to make an arrest, and the case stalled. It wasn't until 1998 that a new team of detectives revisited the Slovers' property. After months of painstaking work, they found buttons and rivets from Karyn's clothing. Witnesses also reported seeing Michael mowing the grass on the lot the evening of the murder, while the Slovers were seen burning items. The key piece of evidence came from a single black dog hair found on the tape of one of the bags. It was a DNA match to the Slovers' Labrador. When police took the dog's brush for testing, Janet and her husband immediately had the animal put down, further raising suspicions. On January 27, 2000, Janet, her husband, and Michael were arrested. Investigators believed that Janet had shot Karyn when she arrived to pick up her son, and then, with her husband's help, dismembered the body on their lot. Michael had assisted in covering up the crime. In 2002, the court found them guilty. Michael and his father were sentenced to 65 years each, while Janet received 60. They continue to deny their involvement, but all of their appeals have been rejected. Colton, Karyn's son, was initially placed in the care of Mary, Michael's sister, who adopted him. However, in 2003, Karyn's parents won custody in court, proving that Mary had harbored hatred toward their daughter and had attempted to erase her memory from Colton's life. Today, Janet is eligible for parole in 2029, while her husband and son could be released after 2030. But the full truth of what happened that day remains known only to them. The story of Karyn Slover is a tragedy of love, betrayal, and cruelty hidden behind the mask of family ties. A young woman dreaming of a better life was cut down just as she was taking flight by those who were supposed to care for her son. The evidence, from buttons to a single dog hair, uncovered a grim truth but left deep scars on the hearts of her loved ones, especially Colton, who had to grow up without his mother. This case serves as a reminder that evil is sometimes closer than it seems, and that while justice may prevail, it does not always bring comfort. It makes us reflect on the fragility of human life and the importance of cherishing those we hold dear. And that concludes our coverage of this tragic story. If you found this video informative or thought-provoking, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates on cases like these. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Feel free to share this video with your friends and give it a thumbs up if you found it valuable. Thank you for watching.